slip on the first hurdle there. Ben Lomond over there. Yeah. What's happening? It's been a while. It's been 7 weeks since last camped. The last camp was on Mull Siobod in Wales with that beautiful inversion that we got. Not going to get any of those conditions tonight, but today we're on a one-nighter in Scotland. I've been here before. It's called Ben Dubh. It's up here. Camped up here, I think it might have been the beginning of last year. Yeah, I can't remember. But basically me and Mark were heading up here and we got shy of the summit and we had to camp on the ledge because we ran out of light. So that's the place I am. I will link the video in this one, so if you do want to go back and watch that, because the conditions were full temperature inversion over Loch Lomond. You've probably seen a little clip of Loch Lomond already, because that's where we're at. But it should be a good one. The forecast is meant to go clear for tonight, so hopefully we'll get some stars tonight. Obviously sunset is 10 to 4, so there's going to be at least, what, 14 hours of tent time. So I'm going to have to keep myself busy, aren't I? And yeah, got a nice little dehydrated meal tonight because there's not much water up Ben Dubh. So I'm having to carry my water. Oh, my bag, by the way, I'm full winter, more or less full winter. And bearing in mind, I've got all my food in here. I've got my drone. I've got water. I think I've got 2.8 litres or something like that, roughly, of water. Bottle of Pepsi Max 500ml. And my bag weighed 14.5 kilo, just so you know. Also, I've got quite a lot of new gear on this one as well. So when we get up there, we'll have a nice look around and we'll talk about some gear whilst we're up there. We'll talk about the Kuiu Stormstar. Yes, I am one of those folk that bought one in the sale. You couldn't really turn it down for 300 quid, could you? So, aye. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. Oh, before I finish, forgot to tell you, I'm with Steve. I don't know if you can see him down there, but he's a little bit further ahead than me. So I picked Steve up at Carlisle train station this morning because it's obviously en route. 2 hours to Carlisle, picked Steve up, and we parked in Loch Lomond for 25 past 10. So plenty of time to get up the hill. Anyway, I can waffle on and talk a glass eye to sleep, but I'm going to muster on because it's going to get steep. Fuck me, look at that. It's like a bed. Even better up there though. Right, that's the top of Ben Dubh, Ben Dubh, whatever you want to call it. My Scottish is not the best. So, last time I came, I pitched a bit further down. It's a bit windy up here, but nothing major. You can see I've put the Senchi on, but the wind is coming through. I don't know if you can make Steve out just back here. Steve's got his full waterproof on to get the wind off him because the wind's like a northerly wind and it is pretty cold. My arm is a bit numb from the bottom, well sorry, from my elbow down to my fingers. I've put some of these like workman gloves on. Yes, laugh now because I've got workman gloves on. But they're windproof, waterproof, and you know they do what they need to do when you're putting your tent up. So anyway, we're going to go and have a little look over this way because there's some snow-capped mountains, and we're going to find a pitch somewhere around here at some point. So I will catch you when we have found a spot. Right then, we found our spot. We've walked up quite a bit further than we anticipated really, because the summit of Ben Dubh is a bit further that way. But when we came over the top and we saw these mountains here, so this is the Araka Alps, and you've got the Cobbler just over there. It's pretty windy here. It is what it is. So I'm gonna get it in here. The ground's quite frozen with a little bit of underfoot bog. But a couple of bits I've wanted to talk to people about was obviously pack size on the Stormstar. Everyone keeps moaning about the bag. Who the fuck uses one of the normal bags that it comes with? Stick it in a dry bag. That's the pack size. That's my hand. I don't know if you can see. Decent pack size. Poles. I always keep the poles in the same bag and keep them on the outside of the pack. Pegs. I'm going to have to come a bit closer to you to show you this, but let's just lie this down for now, so nothing else falls out. But this is, I use a DCF, well, I call it a pencil case. This is a DCF bag from Tread Light Gear. He's really good at what he does, and you can't really see it on camera, but I split the bag and contacted him, and he sent me out some DCF repair tape, so big shout out there. Well, talking pegs, because that's what I wanted to kind of mention, because most people go on about pegs for tents, and I really don't understand. You pay a lot of money for some of these expensive tents, so you know, over £1,000 for a Hilleberg, and the pegs that come with them, they're absolutely shite. You've probably seen them before, but these are Eastern 9 inches. They're some of the best pegs out there for me personally. So they're 9 inches. So they go on the guy lines for me, or depending on what tent I'm using, if the tent requires tension, then this. So if you're using a trekking pole tent, these are perfect for them. So that's an Eastern 9 inch. And then I've got some smaller versions, but these are 3F UL, and these are carbon, like little nails. They go in the base of the tent for me because they're about 6.5, 7 inches. They do the job for me, for the base. So I've got plenty of them. I've got 6, 8 of them, and I've got about 18 Easterns in there. So there should be plenty to get the tent pitched. So I'm going to go and pitch the tent in here, in this little spot here. And I'm not going to film it because you're probably fed up of seeing QU videos. So anyway, and once I get the tent up, we'll have a look round. Right then, so that's us set up. I'm inside the tent at the minute. It's blowing about 27 mile an hour at the wind. The wind is outside with a -4 wind chill. So we've just jumped in just to get changed. One thing I did want to talk about was a little bit of layering systems as well, because I'm a big believer on, I think there's 2 types of layering systems when you're going hiking or camping. So when you're going camping, it's a bit different because obviously you're not as active, so you want to stay warmer and you want to capture that warmth. So a lot of things that I quite like to use are these Alpha Direct stuff. So this is a Century Designs, the Alpha 60, I think it is, this one. It's good enough for winter. I just wear a merino t-shirt. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's just a merino t-shirt. It was the t-shirt I walked up in, but it's not even sweaty, so I've just kept it on. I have got a spare t-shirt just in case it was a bit sweaty. I don't know if you can make out these pants that I've got on. These are some OMM leggings, and these are made from Alpha Direct as well. Alpha Direct is like, I'll show you up close, but they're like, it's like clumps of fabric. I think it's Polartec woven in, so there's like holes. So basically, when you the heat that you create, it captures it in the holes and keeps you warm. So I always make sure I have that, the top on, and the bottoms, and somewhere in here I've got a pair of socks. Where are they? I've got some OMM socks. So one sec, yeah, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see close up. Can you see the holes in the fabric? Not too sure if you can or not. But yeah, they're some OMM socks. So I will sleep in them. I won't put them on into my boots or anything. I'll just sleep in them. But for now, I just kind of put things in my quilt to kind of keep... I know it's not going to be warm, but it's better than it being sat out in your tent. Another couple of bits are down pants. These are the Rab Argons. I've had these for many years. Class pants if you're going to use them in winter. And I've got a Rab Mythic Ultra here that I'm probably put on. You've seen me in that many times. So yeah, so Alpha Direct is your base layer, and then straight into the down. And then if I do feel like I need another fleece, I've got another Sentry, to be truthfully honest. I can always put that on as well. But depending on the temperature, depends on if I bring another layer or not. Like, I might bring a fleece. But in terms of legs, when you've got these down pants on, these are perfectly warm. But talking about two different systems of layering, that's like camping layering. So obviously a lot of it consists of down gear, capturing that warmth and holding onto it. And I think when you're hiking up, it's very different. You don't particularly want to be wearing any down. I've seen a lot of people at this minute in time on Instagram bringing out videos talking about layering systems, and all they tell you is your top half, and you'd be freezing cold if some of these people, you listen to some of them. Anyway, enough waffle on that. That's how I work. Maybe tomorrow on the way back down, I'll probably show you how I layer for hiking, depending on what the conditions are. Depends if it's snowing or raining. I don't particularly go out in the rain. You've probably never seen any rain on my channel anyway. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is throw my down gear on, and then I'm probably going to make a cup of soup because it's only 2:20. So I'm probably going to make a cup of soup, warm up the cockles, and then I'll probably show you around some of the gear, because I've got a lot of new gear. Like I said, new tent. I've got a new quilt sat here as well. So I'd like to show you that and tell you the reasons why I've bought that quilt. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut up now, and I'll bring you back in a little bit. Well, I've finally warmed up. I literally had the drone out for 5 minutes and then couldn't feel my thumbs. So yeah, it is what it is. It's I say proper windy. We're getting between 20 constant. I've had a max gust of 28. It's around 20, 23, 24 constant all the time. So yeah, but I wanted to kind of give you a proper show around now, seeing as we're pitched, we're settled, we're chilled out. Sunset's just happening over here, but it's a bit cloudy in that direction. But I don't know if you can see north. Ooh, look at the Kuyu there, man. Looking north, it's pretty clear in it. So, you know, I'm praying we're getting an aurora alert, because that's north. So if that's the case, we'll be on for it, won't it? I hope you can hear me properly, because it's pretty windy, and obviously I've got my mic on here. But anyway, we'll go and have a little look around the Kuyu, and then we'll have a little look inside at some stuff. So there she is. I tell you what, she doesn't move in the wind. Stays in the Solo, so it's nice to see the Kuyu next to the Solo and seeing how they move around and that. It's good. These guy lines, I'm not too sure. At the minute, I've just got them these back ones running in a straight line, because the back end of the tent I'm not really asked about. I need to put this one out yet. I've not done all the guy lines, I just did the windward side more than anything else, but I'll get that one done. This side, I've done something a bit different, and a lot of people don't talk about this when it comes to the QU, and I'm a bit kind of, well, which way should you put the guy lines? So make it what you will. So I've pulled this bar, I've pulled it out this way, and this bar I've pulled it out that way, so they're in a cross, because for me that's the way that the poles are shaping. So I think for me that's giving it the strength. I don't know, I'm going to try a few different things, with those guy lines and see what the crack is with it, and then we'll make a judgment, shall we say. But you know, considering we're getting what, 28 max gusts at this minute in time, it's not even moving, man, so you can't argue, can you? But I definitely need to get that guy line out there, because I'm watching it and it keeps bending a little bit, so I'll go do that after we get off camera. But we'll go and have a look inside so we can show you some of the other bits of gear. Oh, while we talk about the QU as well, everyone keeps saying about these bloody clips up here. Fucking get some strength, man, and just put them on. They're not that hard. The fourth one is it? Yeah, the fourth one is a bit finicky, because obviously there is more tension on the tent, on the fly sheet when you're putting it on, but it's still not that hard. Just push the poles down, man. You're not going to break. You're not going to push it that far down. And these toggles, God, it's a bit windy, isn't it? These toggles aren't that bad. So again, you just spent 300 quid on it, don't diss it. Anyway, we're in. Let me close the door so we don't get any noise. There we go, that's as good as it's going to get. Right, we're inside. I love it inside here, it's massive, man, like a palace. 2 vestibules either side, all that sort of jazz. Whilst we're talking about the tent, I've noticed, let me get moving around, that there's a lot of people talking about this. This is not a vent. It's a zip to allow you to access this vent on the fly sheet to close it. I've seen people saying that they've been putting mesh in here. What for, man? The whole door rolls back as mesh. You don't need it. It's not a vent. It's there to go and access this. So in theory, what I can do is, if the wind is adverse outside, I can get this, close the zip, zip closed, zip, and that means now it's shut. So if there's driving rain, driving snow, you're shut away from the elements, aren't you? Then you don't have to get outside the tent. By putting mesh into this piece here, you just make it worse for yourself, because what you're going to do, try and get round the back there to put it up. Nah, doesn't cut it in my eyes. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was the quilt. So this is the Neve Gear Waratah quilt. It's straight from Australia, so from the down under. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. That was the shittest Australian accent you've ever heard in your life, man. So yeah, this is the Neve Gear Waratah. It's rated to -8, but the jury's out on that, I reckon. I'm not 100% certain with that. It's got about 560 grams of down in it, roughly, give or take. So I think that should comfortably take me down to a good -5, -6, but we'll see. But one reason why I bought this quilt was because of these clips. So if you can see that the clip is, what, 4 inches up. So when you clip this in, let me clip it in and I'll bring you back. Right, so I've clipped it in now, and you can see that there. So there's some fabric that's loose. So this now curls around you a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not making a hash of this. But yeah, so obviously when you toss and turn in your quilt, it sometimes will lift up like this when you do it. And obviously what happens then is the drafts get in here. So by Neve gear putting the clip higher up the quilt, that should in theory limit the drafts that you get. So I'm looking forward to trying this. I've bought this in replace of my Cumulus quilt. So I've just sold that and moved that on. I've had that for about 3 years. I was fully impressed with it, but I just wanted something different because I like to buy stuff and move things around and play with different camping gear, but I do like to use them for a period of time so that I can give my honest opinion about things. But the Cumulus 450 top quilt if you're thinking about purchasing it, but for now we're going to use this now for the foreseeable and see what that brings. Another piece, I bought a flex tail pillow. Lots of my mates use these, so I thought why not give it a whirl. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, and I've bought another light. This one's from Treadlight Gear. So it's in a DCF pouch. There's a little light inside there. I'm gathering when I turn it on, this will buffer it like a light bulb. So hopefully it should work better. If you know me, I like my lights. There's another light. Another light, but that one's for my camera when I'm filming. Head torch, Petso Bindi, another light. And then I've also got this one. Look at the size of that. That's another light. I think it's a bike light, that one, but it's got red light on that one as well, so sometimes that's quite nice to turn on. So yeah, if you know me, you'll know that I like my lights. But anyway, I ain't got anything else new to show you now. That's just it. And I'm conscious that I've been waffling for too much and you probably fast forwarded on by now. So I'm going to go and get a little cup of soup on the go and warm myself up, and then just chill out really, have a chat with Steve and see what's going on. So I'll bring you back in a little bit.
Thanks, Bernie. Good to have you with us tonight. Max Verstappen just biding his time, waiting to get out into the pit lane and onto the track where Carlos Sainz.
Right then, I've got the old setup going here, the light. It's qualifiers for F1, so we'll be watching that for the next hour. And I've got some water boiling here. This is the meal for tonight. Expedition Foods sweet and sour chicken. It's been a while since I've had one of these sweet and sour chicken ones. I do like them, it's just been a while. Normally I'm a real Termat fan. You'll probably know that because you've seen that a million times over on the channel. And I think I'm hoping that I've got enough water boiling there that I can make a hot chocolate. So I've got a little Galaxy. So we'll have that after. Well, I might have it whilst I'm eating this scran. Bit of a mad mixture in it, sweet and sour chicken and a hot chocolate. We'll give it a whirl anyway. I had a cup of soup before just to warm myself up and have a bit of calories. So that's the plan for tonight. So anyway, I'm going to get this meal, watch the F1, and then probably chill out. Oh, in fact, that's what I wanted to do. Let's show you. I can't show you. My phone's over there. I've got my little thermometer outside, and it's hovering around -2 at the minute. There's a little bit of frost build up on the tent. I don't know if you can see a little bit there. Nothing major though. Outside, it's between -4, -5 in the wind chill. So it's better to be in the tent than it is. Stars are out as well, so we'll potentially have a little look at them later on tonight. Me and Steve will probably stand there for a bit and chat some shit and look at the night sky. But for now anyway, I'm going to have some scran. And I'll probably just say good night to you now. Unless anything changes and goes wild over the night, but I doubt it. So I'll see you in the morning. Oh, good morning. Gas out of here. In winter, always make sure you keep your gas somewhere warm, or else it will struggle. And especially if you're using one of these screw-on gases. I made the schoolboy error last night of trying to cook my meal, and completely forgot that I'd left my gas outside. So yeah, it struggled. It took bloody ages. So that's me telling myself. We had a decent night's kip last night. Watched the stars for a bit. Jumped in. I left my time lapse out all night last night, but I've just gone out this morning to have a bit of a look around the tent, and it was on the floor. So we'll see what we can salvage from that. You've probably seen on screen it's a bit frosty. It was -2 all night last night. Where's my phone? I've got a little thermometer outside the tent, and yeah, currently -2.8. It says here. It seems to be, for some reason, dipping a little bit. But yeah, you can see that there. Average was probably -2, 2.5 all night. Inside the tent, it was 1 degree. Oh, now I've got the door open. I don't know if you can see it or not on there. In the bottom, it's just shy of -1 inside here. So yeah, quilt last night was decent. And to be fair, there's no moisture on top of it today. I don't know if it's because of the humidity levels are not high enough. I think it said on my thermometer it was only going to be 80% humid. So normally you have to be well into the 90s to kind of get a lot of a lot of condensation, shall we say. One thing with the quilt, the clips, I need to have a look at them when I get home, because I felt a bit tight in it, shall we say. I think the clips need moving across the band on the sleeping mat to widen it a little bit, but I'll have a look at that when I get home. The pillow, I had to let some air out of it because I don't like a solid pillow. If you're like me, let a bit of air out of it and it's a bit more cushiony sort of style. But it was pretty comfy. I enjoyed it, especially like the size difference. Felt like the shape of my neck was better in that, so I enjoyed that. And the tent did really good last night. I know it wasn't exactly like strong winds, but there was a few big gusts that came through, and the inner just stays nice and taut all the time. And yeah, it's a good structure. One thing it does remind me of is if you've ever had an MSR Elixir 2, it reminds me of an MSR Elixir 2, like the size wise and the interior. And I think, if I'm right in saying, the Americans use white inners. Obviously I've got a Big Sky as well, that's a white inner. I've got a Durston as well, and that's a white inner. It seems to be a common theme with American tents. I don't know. Show me a tent if you've got an American tent that's got different colours. I think Hilleberg use like yellow interiors, don't they? I think. Do they class it as like a happy colour? I don't know. But I do prefer the white inner. I think it makes it a bit more brighter inside the tent. But anyway, enough waffle. It's a bit of a bomb site around here because all I did was eat last night. Eat snacks. I've got these artisan coffee bags. You get a mixture of them. This one's called The Big Shot. So I'm going to have a coffee this morning, I think. It's an 8 out of 10 intensity, so that should wake me the fuck up. Right, I'm going to get this brew on, and then I'll jump out and we'll watch some sunrise, because the sun's not actually up yet. It doesn't come up till 8:30 and it's only 8 a.m. So plenty of time to have a brew. And you know what happens when you have a coffee sometimes. A little rumble in the jungle. Let's hope not though, because that ground is solid out there. Frozen solid. Right, anyway, catch you in a bit. Probably mentioned these before. These are just a pair of workman gloves off Amazon. About £7. Waterproof, windproof. And when you've got them on, because they're so tight, you've got full dexterity. So all you moaning about them clips on that tent, you can do them with these. Hopefully, you might be able to see it here now. Might slow it down for you. I don't really need them on for this because it's not really that cold, to be honest, but just going to show you. That's one-handed, not a problem, with a glove on. Now back to taking the tent down. Right then, that's us all packed away. That's where I was, just a bit of flat grass. You know the score, take your shit with you. Steve was just over here. He knows the score. Everything's in his bag. So anyway, we're gonna head back over the summit and then back down to the car. So let's crack on. So we're just at the summit, we've come back over, but I did mention to you last night that I was going to show you what I was wearing for hiking in. And obviously it just depends on what conditions you're going in. Obviously today's like a bluebird day, yesterday was very much a bluebird day. There was a bit of wind and stuff, but everything's down to personal preference as well. So you obviously have to go out and work out what works for you. I'll go through what I'm wearing currently, because this is what I normally hike in. The only things that potentially change are my pants, depending on the conditions. So I'll start from top to bottom. Normally I would wear a hat, but at the minute, from coming up over the summit, I've been sweating, so I've just took it off. Or sometimes if I'm feeling a bit too hot, I just roll it up, just allow a bit of fucking, you know, just to get to my ears. And then on my top, I'm wearing a Sencheat Designs Alpha 60. I have one of these to hiking and I have one for camping in to pitch. Once I'm pitched, I can put that on instead of this because sometimes this might be wet. They dry very quickly. They're very good at moisture wicking. I think this combined with the merino, spot on. And underneath this, I've got a through dark merino top. That's quite warm. It's a thick one. I think some of the merino stuff works in weight sizes as well, like a GSM, like a 60, 120 GSMs. And obviously, I've not got it, it's in my bag. But if it was quite windy, I would get my Gore-Tex coat out. Obviously, it is waterproof if it is snowing or raining. And then secondly, it sheds the wind. So obviously, you retain that body heat of layer underneath. Combined with the Alpha stuff, I think I showed you last night, the Alpha stuff has like piles of fabric and it captures that warm air in between it. So having that shield of your windproof jacket on there, and then that creates that layer and you create that warmth layer underneath. So that works really well when you're hiking. Pants wise, at the minute I've got some through dark strikes on. These are windproof, so they do really well for winter conditions and windy conditions. I will change these depending on what the conditions are. Sometimes I might wear a pair of mountain equipment G2 pants. They're obviously Gore-Tex wind stopper material, and they work really, really well in the wind. And then on top of that, I might swap them out for a fully waterproof pair of pants. Not your over pants, but a set of just waterproof pants. And that, obviously, if it's snowing or raining or anything, that's what I tend to use, because I'm not a lover of the over pants. I hate them. I'd rather just start off hiking in a pair of pants. But then waterproof pants, they have zips on. They're by a company called Beyond Nordic. I've had them for a good few years. I've never had any leakages in them. Next time I am wearing them, I will show you them on a video. And then bottom of everything else, these are a pair of La Sportiva Equilibriums. These are the B2 versions where you can put crampons on if you need to, if you're doing anything extreme, but I'm not that extreme. So micro spikes are good enough for me. I haven't got any with me today because I wasn't expecting anything too bad that we couldn't handle, but normally they are in my bag if it's deeper winter, like maybe January or February. That's probably the best time. And then inside my boots, I've got two pairs of socks on. I've got some Injinji toe liners and then a set of merino down tufts on top of them. I've used that for a long time now, since I've been doing them, you know, long distance hiking. Found that's the best sort of thing that you can get for your feet. It's very good moisture wicking. It tends to moisture wick them out from the to the merino layer. So obviously when you get to your pitch, you can just hang your socks up and swap them out for a second pair. And I normally carry a second pair with me as well, just in case anything wants to get inside my boots as well. So other than that, I think we've touched all bases. And obviously, like I said, depending on what the conditions are, depends on what I wear anyway. But it's personal preference. It's just a guide. Feel free, if you want to ask any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you with my thoughts or my opinions on anything else. Anyway, I've done enough waffle. You've probably skipped all this by now, and we're going to head off down to Loch Lomond.
Can't leave you here, can we? Come on, let's go.
So you can see behind me, I don't know which way, I don't know. The sun's blinding me that much in my face, I can't see shit. But you can see behind me, that's where we were, Ben Dubh. We were over the back of Ben Dubh because we realised that the view was miles better over that side. Looking at some of the peaks. I didn't really get into any detail of what they were back there, but the really rocky outcrop one was the Cobbler. One that's on my list to go up and do at some point. And then there was one just to the left of the Cobbler where me and James camped. I can't think of its name now. It's one that I kept getting mixed up, to be truthfully honest, last time we were there. But a decent camp. I'm not too sure if this one might be the last one before the end of the year. I'm going to try and get out if I can do. If there's a weather window, I will do. But I wanted to kind of film this one because there was quite a lot of new gear to share with you, because obviously I don't film every camp, so I just like to just go out and just enjoy camping. And obviously with having the new gear, I like to use it a lot before I kind of make judgments on anything. But overall, first impressions of the new gear so far, decent, enjoying using it. So I'll continue to keep using it going forward. And then if it's worth you buying, I'll tell you. But I'm trying to navigate a bog. Ooh. So yeah, enjoyed the gear, enjoyed the camp, enjoyed the views, enjoyed being out with Steve. He's just walking off down there. So a big shout out to Steve for coming out with me tonight, last night, whatever you want to call it. And I hope you've enjoyed this one just as much as we have. And I'll catch you on the next one.